Hey, what you guys are about to see is a documentary session with Namkabuan Nongkipahayut. He was 130-pound champion at Lumpini in the Golden Age for 6 years. He's absolutely unbelievable. He is absolutely a legend. This session came about before the Muay Thai Library. This predates the Muay Thai Library, but this kind of documentary is really the thing out of which the idea for and the Muay Thai Library has grown, of documenting these amazing men and legends and fighters of Muay Thai all around Thailand. Very unfortunately, Namkabuan has just passed away. I'm having a hard time with this because he's an absolutely incredible man. And I'm actually quite excited to be voicing over this session. This is the first time I ever met Namkabuan. And I'm revoicing the session now, just after he's died, and we're going to be releasing it publicly in order to preserve the legacy, in order for people to get to know who Namkabuan was, what kind of man he was. When you watch this session, you absolutely get to see who Namkabuan was. He is very present. His energy is very clear in the way that he teaches and the way he's presenting. Namkabuan actually wasn't a teacher when we went and shot this documentary session with him. He agreed to teach me, but he had been running a restaurant for decades in Nakhon Ratchasima in Korat that previously he had owned with his brother. As it would happen, only a few days after we met Namkabuan for this session, his older brother died, who we never got to meet. And so now, voicing over this session here, after Namkabuan, again, has just passed away at a young age, he's 48 years old, there's a sense of urgency and kind of beauty in being able to capture this man and these men in the Muay Thai Library and preserve the legacy project. So when you watch this, learn with me as I learn from Namkabuan. This was many years ago. You'll actually see our dog Jaidi in the background when he escapes a little bit late in the session. He starts running around. Jaidi is also not with us anymore. But this was just kind of the beginning, and we've been getting better and growing out of it as we go. As I was saying, Namkabuan was not a teacher at the time that we went and did this documentary session with him. After this session, we invited him a number of times to come do more things that we're teaching, because we're trying to get his style and kind of this, I don't know, a way of preserving and continuing the knowledge that these men who are disappearing now and who are no longer in Muay Thai are just, you know, Samson's a taxi driver, Namkabuan's running a restaurant, they're not teachers. We brought Namkabuan down for a Four Legends seminar. There will also be video of that. It was in Bangkok, it was incredible. That was with Namkabuan, Diesel Noi, Karahat, and Chat Chai Sasikun. It was amazing. We brought Namkabuan down to Pattaya twice to my gym at Petrungrung for the Muay Khao Summit, as well as for the Legends in Residence program that we were doing. So we kind of pulled him into teaching when he had not been teaching, and he is amazing at it and actually took a liking to it. He started getting certified through these licensing that they have in Thailand and became a trainer down at a very well-known big Phuket gym for a while until COVID hit and he came back home. But he became a teacher for a while, and he just kind of has been amazing at it. I don't know that he knew he would be amazing at it. I'm going to revoice this session. We're going to release it publicly. Please enjoy it, share it, love it. Go watch his playlist of his fights. Watch our interviews with him. We have Watch With Me of him watching his own fights and voicing himself commentary as he remembers things on that. He's just, there's something about Namkabuan's charm that's indescribable, but is captured in these videos. So I'm very happy to have them. So Namkabuan is just having me shadow box. This is a gym. It's like a makeshift gym. It's got a ring. It had a trainer. He was not a trainer at this gym, but it was in a resort in Karat. So he just came and trained me in this like little makeshift gym that was in a resort in Karat. So he wasn't entirely sure how to teach because he was not a teacher at this time. So he's just having me move around and like get an idea and see how he's starting to like feel how he would do things differently from what I'm doing. And so he's trying to show me this kind of like leading with the front leg. He like fakes up with his front leg. So lock in Thai is to lie, but is what they use for faking. So you like, you fake with the front leg and then come with a cross. Look at him figure it out in his own body, like as he's seeing me not do it the way he's talking about it. This thing, I'm gonna talk about this later, but his feet, watch his bounce. I actually call it the Nongki bounce because this is Namkabuan's rhythm. It's like a boxer. It's very specific to him. Oh, look at his waist. Like, look at it. Okay, look at his feet and his knees as he's doing his bounce. But watch his waist as he throws that right. It comes out of nowhere. So fast. So he's doing a little leg kick, and then he's twitching his hip so it looks like he's gonna kick again, but he throws the right instead. So see how he's got this bounce and how fast that right is coming as like a twitch out. So now he's teeping my legs. He's showing the variety of ways that you can get into this right cross. So you can teep the legs, you can kick the leg, you can fake with the front leg. Everything is leading to this right cross. Oh, he's so chic. These sweatpants he's wearing are like Playboy sweatpants, and then he's got like brass knuckles slash like handcuff on his shirt. He's got such style. He keeps saying damong, damong. He means look your opponent in the eye. He was the first trainer ever who told me to look in someone's eye. And I was like so shy at the time, I couldn't do it. And he's so handsome. I was like, I can't look at you in the eye as I'm doing this. My kayap means like don't do a little jump. I was doing like a little jump with my feet. He's like, you don't have to do a little skip. See how he like leg kick, and then the right just comes. Look at the twist. Look at his waist. Look at the twist. He says you make them think you're going to kick, but you don't kick. You don't even like fake the kick. You just twist your hip. The twist of the hip is the fake. So now he's bringing me on the bag so that I can actually kick, right? So you actually kick and then fake the kick. He's like, you make them think you're going to kick, so your twist looks like a kick. The leg doesn't even come off the ground. You come with the right instead. It's not a Superman. I do it without the fake. Lock. It's like fake first, fake first. Oh. He can't figure out why my kick looks nothing like a kick. It's because I'm not understanding to like switch my hip. But look at how straight, because he's switching, he's like twitching his hip, that right comes straight out of his body. It's just like a piston. It's so fast. So he just said Muay Thai Bones. That means boxing, like Western boxing. He's like, in Western boxing, you're like this. In Muay Thai, you've got this little like lancing forward with the right. It's much longer. Ugh. His stance is actually quite aligned. Like he's got kind of like a racer foot. It's not as wide as some other fighters are. And then he's like clipping. Right there, he was showing me with his fist how that when you hit the bag, you kind of like clip it. See how he's trying to get my energy? He's like starting to get into it. Dadu, dadu. He's telling me to look him in the face. I can't, no. I can't do it. Look at his stance. Look at how close it is. He can bounce like that. He's saying if you don't fake first, the opponent's going to close up. So you're basically faking things to the leg so that your opponent does not close up, and so you're going to land your right cross. Basically use the legs to set up for the top. Look at the twist in his shoulder. It's like rotation.
I'm showing him every time. คุณชกทำให้คู่ต่อสู้เห็นก่อนคุณต้องหลอกเหมือนหลอกเตะเหมือนหลอกเตะเข้าใจไหม
He's talking about the importance of faking. He's like, if you're gonna fake, you have to start with actual kicks. This is Kru Kwan. He's actually the teacher at this gym, and so he was there teaching these kids, and he came in to kind of help. You can see him pivoting my hip for me to show that the twitch of the hip is how you're actually faking the kick and giving the trajectory to the right cross. I just said bit gone, which means like you rotate a little bit first and then the arm comes out. So it's one movement, but there's a little bit of a like 1, 2. The 1 is the fake of the kick, and then the 2 is the right coming out. Look at him go. So he's saying it's even better if with that fake of the kick, your opponent brings their block up, because then they're on one leg. And so when you nail them in the face with your right cross, much better. So now he's showing the different things you can fake. You can fake with your front leg, you can fake with your feet, you can fake with the kick. He just said, Muay Khao, Tamay. He's like, so you're a Muay Khao fighter, right? Like he had heard that I'm Muay Khao fighter. So he's going to teach me some Muay Khao stuff. So if you're Muay Khao and you're just going to be coming in all the time, he's showing me how people are going to block you. They're going to keep their leg up to kind of like keep you from kneeing. He's going to the outside of my leg and kind of, he's hitting my calf. He's not hooking it, but he's hitting my calf and kind of tripping me from the outside. The very last conversation I had with him, he was showing me that this is something he did against Cherry, who he won his 130-pound belt from. And Cherry had tied and then beat his older brother Namkabuan a bunch of times. He beat him once, but they tied a bunch of times. And Namkabuan was true Muay Khao. He just came in all the time. And so I had asked Namkabuan how he beat Cherry, how he changed it. And he thought about it, and he was talking about what he's showing here, this going outside the leg. So get better and teach it to me. So I'll teach it to you when I'm better. So here he's showing, as Muay Khao, as you're closing in and people are going to put their leg up, when they're on one leg, you shove them into the ropes. Because their back is hitting the ropes, their guard is going to pop open. It's like opening a clam, and then you can throw an elbow at them. This is like quintessential Namkabuan type move to like bounce someone off the ropes. See how he's hitting the bottom part? He's hitting the outside of my calf. See his foot? He's like hooking my ankle and like clearing me across my own body. This is to off balance, and then you kind of like pull around the top. He said left or right is the same, but you want to pull across the body. See how I'm going like right on his knee? Okay, you can trip someone that way, but you have to use a little bit more power. By going down by the ankle and pulling their foot across their body, it's much easier. You like get them to whip with using very, very little effort. So I'm understanding there to go to his calf, but I'm not using my ankle on his ankle. And then Kru Kwan is trying to show there how the upper body kind of twists at the same time. See how you pull towards your own hip? It's like a rotation. he's trying to get me to understand the timing of it. That's a huge point right there, what he's doing. So this is when someone's trying to straight knee you. You want to time it, get their knee across and pull them. See how he put his hip in a little bit? He's like, if you take a little bit of a step in first, like you bring your hip in, then you only have to be bao bao, which means use very little, be very light, and you can twist, and they're gonna go. So it's not like, bah, like batting it out of the way. If you bring your hip in at the same time, you can kind of just glide it across the body. Make no mistake, when you watch Namkabuan's fights, he was a powerful fighter. But when I've interviewed him, he talked about how he was lazy and he like didn't want to be tired. So he learned ways around using lots of power. So he's incredibly powerful when he needs to be, but has all these ways to not tap into his power until he actually needs it. So he's talking about Muay Khao. He's like, as Muay Khao, you want to close in. And so someone's going to try to go towards the rope and keep you off of them. They're going to try to teep you, put their knee up. And so you don't just charge into them. See what he's doing? He's staying at a distance and starting to fake. So with the opponent's back against the rope, when you're Muay Khao and you're coming in, you start to fake from a distance where you can throw any strikes. See how he's like inching me towards the rope? He's cutting angles. Look how pretty. I love watching fighters from this position where you can see their back, like right where a football player would have like their name. You can see so much of how they move from that angle. See? A little bit of teeping. Then you fake the teep. So he gets me being like, I'm going to withstand that teep, and then he punches me in the face. So he's making a point. If I try to teep and he pulls his leg back, he can jab me before I can jab him. So he's saying timing-wise, when I teep his leg, if he pulls his leg back, as my foot is failing to hit his thigh and it's coming to the ground, I need to be jabbing him in the face. It needs to be, in Thai it's called promgan. It means simultaneous with. So as my foot's coming down from not hitting his leg, I need to be jabbing him. Otherwise, he wins the jabbing game. I'm too slow. My Thai was not as good back then. I didn't fully understand. See? Kalong. This means like as the leg is coming down, the jab comes. There we go. This has nothing to do with the technique, but this is Namkabuan, and so I want to point it out. He has this way of talking that I absolutely love. He's very hip. He's very cool. He likes saying "bup." "Bup" is like a Thai sound that's kind of like, and suddenly something happened, and like it's this kind of like filler. "Bup" he uses. And in Thai, when you're like right or is that right, you say "Thai mai," means like is that right. He goes "Chime." I'm like, are you 17 years old? Chime. You'll hear him say it, maybe. But Chime. It's very cool. It's very hip. But he's like, when you try to kick and they pull their leg back, but you're coming with your kick, with your punch. But I want a t-shirt. Namkabuan. But
ปึ๊บโอเคปึ๊บมัน
Namkabuan was 130-pound champion, but he's small for 130. He actually should have been around like 122, 124. And then his brother had the belt, and so he had to skip over his brother's weight and be 130. So he's super powerful, but he also has this like aerial ability to him. That's this like kind of lighter weight thing about him. So he's like, you fake the punch, you get them to turtle, and then you just come up with this elbow. Like you leap over them because you've gotten them to close. He's like, punch as much as you want. You throw the elbow when they close. Like, if you're landing punches, land your punches. But when they close, that's when you can do like one of these like jumping elbows. See how he's faking first? Like he's getting Kru Kwan to kind of like respond to his punches. Almost. He's saying you have to jump quite high because you want the trajectory of the elbow to come down like this. He's saying if you don't jump, they can just teep you. Like even from a closed position, if you don't jump, they're just going to teep you as you try to elbow. So you have to fake, close them up, and then you can jump. Ah, look at his like slipping. It's so beautiful. He just said "Doi Jing Jing." He means like punch for real. Don't like I'm doing this thing. He's like, I'm Namkabuan. You can actually hit me. Like punch for real. Get them to close, and then you go and you do the elbow. There's a fight. I'm sad I can't remember exactly who. I think he's fighting Sang Tia Noi. There's this fight. He's fighting Sang Tia Noi. Sang Tia Noi's big. Namkabuan just like picks him up and like throws him to the side. It's unreal. So powerful. He did like jumping head kicks in that fight as well. They're talking about the importance of the height on this one, so that you can like chop down with that elbow. So he's figuring things out as he goes. Again, he's not been teaching. He's not a teacher. He runs a restaurant, a very successful restaurant called Namkabuan. But he's thinking of things like as he's watching me move. So now he's getting me to block. So he's showing like you get them block, push them out of the way, block, fake the kick, and teep. Look at him have fun with it. He's like remembering things that he liked to do. He keeps saying tukyang. Tukyang in Thai means everything, but we have another video we'll release of him teaching this. It's where you catch the teep and you like pull it down across. It's a little bit like what he was doing with the knee, where you just like extend it. He does it so nice. But he's just like, he's remembering things that he like did to people, and he's like getting into it. Tukyang, throw everything, like piece everything together. He's saying if you meet a puncher, you're going to be teeping a lot. So he's going to be the puncher, and I just have to teep a lot. So he's like, you're Muay Cow, you have a teep, you use your teep against a puncher to set up for your Muay Cow. So you're going to teep them into the ropes and then use these steps to get your knees. So he's saying everything leads to the grab. You don't just like run in and grab someone. You have like the teep leads to the knee, leads to the kick, leads to the punches. Like it depends on distance, but you're just like working your way towards on the ropes being able to grab. This is Namkabuan's slide knee. You can't call it a slide knee. He actually calls it slide because that's how Thais pronounce it. So you can't call it a slide knee. You have to say slide.
ปั๊บเข้าไปเลยยาวมากที่นี่ก็เก่าอยู่
I just said yao. This means long. And he's like, yao mak. Like, this is like across the ring.
จะเป็นการสไลด์ที่ดีมากแต่มือจะตกเราสไลด์
So
แรงทุบมันอยู่คู่ต่อสู้เนี่ย
he's saying the slide is for the left knee. So you have to like,
กดเข้าไปเลย
see how
สไลด์
he switches his stance for a second. The reason he's landing his left knee is that's the open side. That's the like damaging side. But he's covering all this distance. Reo means fast. So you're punching to get them to close. Then once they close, they've posted, and you can do this sliding, like video game slide.
แรงๆ
Lang lang means like do it hard, like just go through someone. You're like a jouster on the horse, on his horse.
มันทุกอย่างมันก็ต้องมีการหลอก
It's like use everything to get to it.
ก้าวยาวๆก้าวยาวๆตั้ง
So he's saying gao yao yao, gao yao yao. Gao is to take a step forward, and yao again is long. So he's like you're taking a huge step forward. You're like a fencer slash jouster.
นั่นแหละถูกแล้ว
I'm coming high. He said now let, which means that he agrees with what I did. He's like that's good, but it's not. He like keeps his his leg like this, like his shin is actually kind of not tucked, and then he just fucking like pendulum swings that knee.
ระวังหมัดด้วย
It's totally like the tiger knee of Sagat in the Street Fighter video game where he just makes the shape of the knee and then just slides across the entire screen. It's like that, but Namkabuan is doing this like galloping forward with it because it's real. This is a thing though, because I worked with Namkabuan many times again after he just went like I just got him for real on that one. I worked with him many times after this. Something that I picked up from him is that he really loves a long right to set up for his power left, and he does it really well. So he'll do like a right cross for a left kick, for this slide knee, slide, this kind of thing. But at the beginning, he was showing how to set up for that right cross, right? Like you do all these things to set up for the right cross that closes someone, and then you have this open side power shot. He's showing how to juggle someone, like someone who's durning on you. He's showing all the ways that you can juggle them. He's like, punch first, teep first, put your knee up and then down, an elbow.
จะเป็นต่อยมันจะเป็นสเต็ปของมันพอต่อยปุ๊บมันจะแทงขวาต่อยขวาแทงซ้าย
So he's showing like the steps, right? So you're like punching for the left, and then you can punch again to get to your right. He's showing this like kind of like procession of weapons coming out. He's like, if you just try to throw your left into someone's open side, they're just gonna nail you with an elbow or a punch. That's why you have to close them up first. Namkabuan was an unbelievably well-rounded fighter. He's amazing. He could adjust. He had like different performances with different people. He's really a well-rounded, amazing fighter from the golden age. We have an interview with him that you can see on my YouTube channel where he talks about how he kind of developed as a fighter, and a lot of it had to do with going against his older brother Nampan, who kind of beat the shit out of him in the gym, and so he had to like learn how to adjust to this power kind of thing, and then he finally got bigger than his brother. But these are things that he's like worked out to be able to just adjust to every kind of fighter. So here he's actually teaching this. He's going right fist first, and then you can come with the power side. He's like talking about how setting up with this powerful right cross, which again, can't come out of nowhere. You set up the right cross with your fakes, with your teeps, these kinds of things. But once that right has hit and they've turtled or they've been affected by it, that's when you're power left into the open side on a right-handed fighter. Look at his bounce, guys. This is...
ตัว
I call it the Nongki bounce. It doesn't actually have a name. We call it the Nongki bounce because he's from Nongki Bariram, the Nongkipahayut gym.
จิ้มตาว่าจังหวะวางผมแล้วก็จิ้ม
Oh, look at him like land that right and then kind of push me a little bit more.
โอเคเพราะว่า เตะแล้วจิ้มแล้วก็ทำลายจังหวะ
He's saying that the punch ruins their timing, like ruins your opponent's timing to counter you. Oh, he's starting to get his little like fighter thing on. It's impossible. He's like, play with me, and I'm like, I'm terrified of you. I would love to. Linchung. This is sparring in Thai. It literally means to play with technique. Linchung. There we go, a little bit. I can't fight Namkabuan. Look at this, like catching my leg and pulling it down.
ไม่ต้องตื่นเต้นไม่ต้องกระโดดถ้าเราตื่นเต้น
He's saying you don't have to jump.
หล่น
Maitong tunten. Tunten means to be like agitated or excited. He says you don't have to jump around, which is funny because he's got this Nongki rhythm that's not jumping around. It's his actual rhythm, but it's very steady. It's very like, look at me in the eyes. I can't. Cannot do it.
คิดเราชกไม่เข้าเราต้องเปลี่ยนอาวุธมาเตะมาโยกบาง
He's saying if you try to hit someone and it doesn't work, change your weapons. Like you're basically testing things. You're like, does this work? Does this work? Does this work? Like you're adjusting all the time.
ครั้งสองครั้งเราก็ต้องถีบเข้าใจไหมเราเตะไม่เข้าเพื่อเขาโยกบางเราต้องหมัด
So he's like, if you try to kick them and they block, teep. If you try to kick them and they teep, punch. Like he's making all these adjustments to what their response is. Oh, a little push, little elbow. He's happy with this because this is something he taught me, and now he's going to get into it. He says he did this against Robert. So you shove your opponent into the rope, and they're going to bounce into the rope, which opens their guard, like cracking open a shell, and then their body's going to come back, and as they're coming back, you throw an elbow. These people around the ring are the owners of this resort. They're like coming to watch him. Again, he wasn't a trainer, so it's like, let's come watch the legend teach a lesson. Just observe this incredible thing that would never happen. So he's making a point here about how I'm pushing his guard. He's like, you're wearing gloves, right? So your gloves are slippery. If you push like this, like you're punching someone, they're just gonna slip. You have to like open your palms in your gloves and like push. He's like, if you make fists like this and you try to like come in like this, you're just gonna slip on the other person's guard. You have to open. He's like, you're trying to create the rhythm and the opening for the elbow. So you have to get a good push. You can move their guard out of the way, but you need firmness, which a fist doesn't have. See how his whole body kind of like comes in with it? See, he's like, you just understood the rhythm of that because his leg was up. I pushed him when his leg was up. If his feet are both on the floor and my glove comes to his chest, he can push it down or he can trap it. But when he's on one leg, he can't really like snatch that at the same time or push it off at the same time. So he's talking about how the opponent's going to try to kick you as you're coming in for this. You can take one of those kicks, but then while they're on one leg from the next kick, that's when you push. You're timing it.
แต่ว่าอย่าทำบ่อย
He's like, you can take a kick in order to set up the timing, but don't take too many kicks because it hurts.
ฝึกเยอะๆฝึกเยอะๆอันนี้ปุ๊บเข้าใจเลย
I have a feeling like he and his brother had a disagreement about taking damage because Nampon didn't give a shit. Nampon would take so much damage to come in and just shred people. I think Namkabuan didn't like it, so he's like trying to minimize how much it would hurt. He also, in the watch with me of his fight against Ramon Decker, made a big point about how much Decker hurt his arms with the kicks. So I think he, like,
เยอะๆซ้อมกับคุณป้า
after he retired is like, I don't want that even more than when I was a fighter. But so you take one, that's okay, to time the second one and then push them when they're on one leg.
เราหักปุ๊บต่อบ่อยๆบ่อยๆมันได้ผล
He's saying you have to practice this often in order to like understand the timing and rhythm of it.
เหนื่อยแล้วเนี่ยไม่เหนื่อย
He's so charming. He's like, are you tired?
ชกกันเบสิกเบาๆไปจะดูว่าคุณชกสไตล์ยังไงปกติคุณชกสไตล์ไหน เดินเข่า
He's like, what is normally your style? I'm like, Muay Thai. Like, I come forward.
เหมือนเข่าเหมือนกัน
He's like, I'm also Muay Thai.
ต้องแข็งแรงรัด
Yes.
รัด
He liked to come in and grab. One of his aliases was the body lock expert. He loved getting close and grabbing the waist. This is something that you don't see as much in modern Muay Thai because they stopped giving points for it. They stopped rewarding it. So now if your head goes low in a body lock, you're kind of risking a lot. In Namkabuan's day, the way that he scored with these body locks and throws and just coming in and fucking like suplexing people was incredible.
จิ้ม
So even though he's completely well-rounded, he's so versatile, he's talking all about how you use these fakes and rhythms to close in. He considers himself Muay Thai, which is interesting to me.
คุณเดินมาต้องมีอาวุธ
I do too, but not in a like pure categorical way. It's his heart is Muay Thai.
ต่อยขวาแทงซ้ายเอาต่อยขวาให้
Here again is his like right to the left, left to the right, like alternate sides, high, low. I'm trying to throw. He's like Tukyang. He's like throw everything. So I'm trying to throw lots of different things, but I don't actually have faking timing or rhythm. So his like, he sees me doing things and he's like, yeah, you're doing it, but like with no flow.
ซ้ายขวาคุณเดินเข้าไปครับ
He's like, you can't just come straight forward. You have to corral. You have to like slide left and right.
ที่พวกฝีมือดีๆเก๋า
He's like, if you are Muay Thai and you meet with Fimur and you just come straight, they're just going to put their leg up and do this. They're going to control you from the
ได้
ropes.
เปรียบเพราะอะไรคุณเป็นมือเข่าถ้าคุณมีศอกด้วย
He's like, if you're Muay Thai, you have elbows also. So when you have someone in the ropes like this and they're bouncing their knee, you just fucking like time that shove and elbow.
ใช่ไหม
See how he's controlling me with just his knee? If I only use knees, he's got his back against the rope and he's completely controlling me on one leg with one leg in the air, just his knee kind of windshield wipering to keep me off of him. This
ยกการเขาเตะเขาถีบเขาต่อย
scores really high in Muay Thai because you are doing very little to completely control someone else, which is why as the Muay Thai fighter, it's very important to have versatility in being able to fake and set up in order to land your power strikes. I can't.
ผมรู้เพราะว่าขอยกนี่ไงการเข้าไปใช่ไหมเราอยู่กับเชือกมาปุ๊บมือสำคัญทำไปปุ๊บถอย
So he's showing me, we switched now, so I'm the one with my back on the ropes and I'm controlling him, and he's showing what to do as the oncoming fighter with your fakes, your shoves, your elbows. Like,
ไม่เจ็บไม่เจ็บไม่เจ็บ
if someone is controlling you with their back against the rope, get them to fire their shot first, and then you counter them as they're recovering from it.
นั่นแหละออกน้ำจัดก้มด้วยนะ ไม่ใช่ว่าไป
Boom. He's like, keep your chin tucked. You can't like come elbowing with your head floating. It's very charming.
นั่นแหละแต่แบบนี้มันเข้าไม่ถึง
He's saying if you try to go like this, the elbow's not going to reach. You have to wait for them to bounce back with the fan sok.
เด้งเชือกหลังเปิดหน้ากลับมาเปิดหน้ากลับมา
He's saying they go back, and then you wait for when they're swinging forward again.
จริงๆแล้วอ่ะบล็อกก็บล็อกยากบล็อกกระโดด
He's saying it's very hard to block this because when you hit the ropes, you pop open.
คนเราได้เชือกเนี่ยมือจะอยู่อย่างนี้
He's like, when you hit the rope, you pop. Nobody hits the rope like this.
พอได้เชือกพอได้เชือกปุ๊บมันก็คือเหมือนจังหวะ
And then as they come back, they're open.
ให้
Boat got. This means to open your guard. Boat got.
นั่นแหละ
Oh, looks
พอ
legit.
โดนมาทุกคนแล้วเดินเหมือนกัน
He's like everybody does the same. Everybody when they hit the ropes are gonna pop open like that. It's like a seagull dropping a shell. It's gonna open. He's remembering. He's like, when I fought Robert, and he's asking me, have you ever seen this fight? And I'd never even heard of Robert. I thought he was talking about a farang. Robert is a Thai fighter. He's actually very famous. He's like, have you seen Namkabuan versus Robert? And I'm like, Kevin, have we seen a guy named Robert? Nope.
Did we see him fight Robert in America?
Oh, no.
No.
No. Only Thai.
I think he was also asking if we'd seen his fight with Meti.
Oh.
And that's why he's saying Americas, because Meti is now in America. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I know the fight where you plow out of the ring and then Nongkipahayut jumps back into the ring while the referee is trying to help his opponent come back into the ring. And Nongkipahayut's just immediately back into the fight. The referee's kind of like, oh my God, what's going on?
ไม่ให้เสียฟอร์ม
It honestly, to me, is like, I think it's his fight against Meti, actually. He like plows Meti out of the ring and then Namkabuan leaps back in. And my trainer, crew knew when the first time he ever plowed me, he screamed Namkabuan, which is actually how I found out who Namkabuan was, because this was like a signature move of Namkabuan. He was known as Yom Paina, which actually means like the best plower. They made it illegal during his reign, so you couldn't plow anymore, you couldn't throw people out of the ring anymore. What was interesting is when I was referencing this like ultimate masculine moment of him plowing Mati out of the ring and then leaping back in himself, he's not super happy about this moment. Like, he's slightly embarrassed about it. I think that he kind of, when they made plowing illegal, it was kind of seen as this like, we're taking Namkabuan's crutch away. He didn't need it. He was absolutely incredible, even without it. He's showing how to solve it. If someone comes and they push your chest and they start to come forward, you just push their hand off.
ปัดแขนมาฝั่งนี้ใช่ไหมปัดแขนมาฝั่งนี้
But is to like parry off.
เพราะว่ามันกระโดดขึ้นกระโดดขึ้นกระโดดกอดคอปึ๊บ
Or you can jump up. So these are things you can do when someone catches your kick, other than being plowed across the ring and out of the ring by Namkabuan when you were still allowed to do it.
มันจะมีหลายอย่างเรา
As a note, I still, anytime I plow someone, knowing it's completely illegal, I do it in training as a game. I still scream Namkabuan for sure. Namkabuan!
เดี๋ยวก่อนกินน้ำก่อน
Get Namkabuan. It's like, drink some water. Take a break.
จิ๊บ
So he's trying to get me to like feel
ใครที่เก่งตรงนี้
this constant faking movement. His footwork, his Nongki bounce, is one huge elaborate fake. It's very hard to read his rhythm out of the Nongki bounce. It's like the sandworms in Dune, how you can't walk with a rhythm. When he's bouncing like this all the time, you can't read a rhythm off of him because any weapon can come out of it. You can change direction. It can be a kick, it can be a punch.
หลอกยับทีบปึ๊บทีบหลอกทีบยับพอทีบเข้ากันพอเขาจะปัด
See how he has fakes between his fakes? It's like,
ทีบเขาปัดขาก็ยับ
he's very hard to read.
ปัดขาแล้วก็ยับแล้วก็ไม่ทีบ ระยะ
He's trying
พอเขาปิด
he's
หน้า
trying to like lay out all the different fakes that you can do.
ปึ๊บนี่ปึ๊บ
It's totally like
ใช่
ABACABB. Like it's very hard to like follow what he's saying. But he just feels it. Like he can feel all of these different things. He's like, you jab and then you fake the jab and you teep and then you teep and fake the jab and then you do leg kick instead. It's like step pause, pivot, step pause.
พอเราต่อยปุ๊บยัดมันจะปิดใช่ไหมพอปิด
But it's getting people to close, and then when they close, you have an opening. If they don't close, you have a different opening.
ปุ๊บปุ๊บปุ๊บปุ๊บปุ๊บโอเคถูกแล้ว
Starting to understand it a little bit. It's high, low, left, right.
The whack-a-mole.
It's like a whack-a-mole, this like high-low thing.
น้องเจดียังไม่กินเลยเจดี
These are the people who own the resort. Very nice.
จับ
So I asked him about clinching because he was the like body lock expert. It was very cute because he's not a teacher at this point. So he was like, I don't remember. But once we started actually clinching, he just like went into, oh, this comes. Like he just remembered and could do these things.
ยกขาขึ้นปั๊บพุ่ง
So he's saying you wait for the opponent's leg to come up with their knee, right? They're not like lifting their knee for you. They're kneeing you. You wait for their knee, so you take a knee, and then you can go under it like this and pull them around.
จับ
He's saying to like kind of shove.
ปึ๊บปึ๊บเดี๋ยว
This is interesting in the way he does it. Berklerk also teaches this. You can see him in the Muay Thai Library. Berklerk throws straight back, and he kind of like takes a lancing step like this. Namkabuan kind of like throws you to the side. He made himself short. He's like, if we were the same size, you could then do this. But see his like lift on it?
แรงๆพอตีจังหวะพอดีพุ่งลงไปหรือไม่ก็
He's like, make your body hard.
เข่า
Don't use energy. It's about timing, but your body's stiff, and you like go. This is the alternate, is that as the leg comes up, you just knee their standing leg.
ตีเข่านี่ใช่ไหมขานิดเดียวตรงนี้พอยกขา
He's like, this is if your bodies are closer, and it's just a little bit. Your knee just barely like digs into their standing leg and makes their balance go.
แบบนี้จะกระโดดข้อขาลอยขา
He's saying this is especially good if when people are kneeing, they jump a little bit. Because when they jump a little bit and you hit it's not standing anymore because they're in the air, but their straight leg, it'll flip them.
ใช่ปึ๊บจิ้มแท็กติกเข่าดีปึ๊บ
Back in Namkabuan's day,
มือ
you weren't allowed to sweep
เวลาตี
the standing leg in knees like this. Like you couldn't hit the ankle. You could hit the leg the way that he's showing me here, but you couldn't hit the ankle. He told me in an interview later, he's like, if they had had that rule back in my day, I would have died. Like I needed that standing leg. If people had hit my ankle, it would have been, I would not have been able to knee the way that I did. Things change in scoring that make techniques very different.
ปึ๊บเราเข้าไปที่
Body locks don't score anymore.
แล้วถอยมา
Ah,
เห็นไหม
so this is like when you're pushing against someone
เขาก็
and they're stopping you, you don't just keep plowing into them, you then rip them back. He's like, this is just gonna make you tired.
ถอยออกมาดูถอยออกมา
Toy ma dun, pull them back a little bit.
พอการปึ๊บอย่างเงี้ยเราถอยด้าน
ปึ๊บ
ไม่มีประโยชน์กรรมการเบรก
He's like, there's no point.
แต่เขา
Like once you push them into the rope and they're like posting you here, there's no point. The referee's gonna come break you. So when you push and you realize you can't go forward anymore, rip them back or sweep their leg out.
ทิ้งไว้แข็งไว้ทิ้งไว้เดี๋ยวไม่ถึง
So see how he's pushing against my leg? He pushes against it first and then he pulls me backwards. Look at
มาดึง
it's so pretty. Look at how his legs pull the whole thing back. Like his butt doesn't come back. His whole body just kind of
กันไว้กันเนี่ยทั้งปีไม่มีอะไร
uses the force to like pull me back. We go as a unit. Oh, and then he switches his leg back so he can land to the open side. And all of a sudden, my dominant moment is probably a knockout.
นะมันเงียบปุ๊บเนี่ย
I don't understand him at this point, so I'm not geeking out about it. I'm just like freaked
เพราะ
out.
เราดันอย่างเงี้ย
I'm geeking out about this now.
มันก็จะอยู่อย่างเงี้ย การเราก็เหนื่อย
He's like, don't let people do this to you. Don't let femur fighters do this shit to you.
เราดึงครับพยายาม
Kwai. In Thai, they call it a buffalo. It's like doing something stupid, right? So like if you just run into someone and you like get stuck on their knee and keep pushing on them, you're kwai. It's not good. Don't do that.
เอาได้ปึ๊บสามารถวิ่งอย่างเงี้ยวิ่งปึ๊บ
So he's showing how if you have a Muay Thai fighter, they're gonna be throwing a bunch of knees at you, and you wait for this timing.
ใช่ไหมกดแล้วจิ้ม
Jim is to like push in. See how he's like pushing in with the knee?
ถูก
So he's like, as they're pushing in, as their hip starts to extend, your timing is to go on that calf. And because their hip is extending, you're like pulling them across their body and they're just gonna flip.
จิ้มเลยขอแล้วจิ้มเลยพอจิ้มไปปึ๊บ
Don't let them just knee straight like that. But you might take one or two and then bop, but it's as the hip is coming forward. See him show the timing on that? It's beautiful.
จะไม่ค่อยตีเขาที่เด้งแล้วตี
He's like people don't really knee like this so much. They like to knee up the middle because that's what scores really high. So when their knee is straight, you can come across.
Becomes susceptible there. But they're doing side
It's as their body is becoming the longest as the hip is coming forward. Yeah.
พร้อมมือลงสองข้างจิ้มฝั่งไหนจิ้ม
This is why people tuck their foot to the outside of their hip so that the knee comes like this. It's harder to do that move. He's like, do a lot of sit-ups. You have to do so many sit-ups so that you can take one or two of those in order to throw this trick. So I'm asking, do you have to like step to the side?
จิ้มปึ๊บเนี่ยจิ้มเข้ามาปึ๊บมันจะกดปึ๊บอย่างนี้ใช่ไหมเราต้องก้าวขา
He's like, you can't let your hip go back. You have to kind of like pivot over.
ดันปึ๊บดันดันดึง
So he's like, push a little and then do this little like pivot over, but do it quickly. No. He's like, don't let them stay with their knee in your belly. It looks really bad. Ah, there we go. Boop,
เหมือนเราเหมือนกันเวลาไปจิ้มเขาจิ้มปึ๊บเราลง
boop.
ใช่ไหมเราลงแต่ระวังเหมือนกันเพราะว่าเขาก็จะทำเราเหมือนกันพอเราทำเขาปุ๊บเขาล้มทีนี้เราทำเขาเขาก็จะทำเหมือนกันแต่
So he's making a point. He's like,
ลูกนี้ผมก็ยัง
if
ไม่
they
รู้
can do
ผม
it,
ยังไม่เคย
like if you can do it to them, they can do it to you. So when you're throwing your knees to the center, don't like leave your extension out
จิ้ม
too
เข้ามา
long.
ปุ๊บบางจิ้มพอจิ้มแล้วรีบลงจิ๊บลงแล้วรีบออก
I don't think so. I think he okay. I think he okay. We just walk him. Yeah.
ทุกอย่างนั่นแหละนี่แหละสำคัญมากถูกแล้ว
So we're starting to put these things together a little bit again.
ได้ผล
He's saying you have to practice this a lot. You have to practice this timing of pushing someone into the ropes and getting them on the bounce back.
หน้าอกมือเข่าติดใช่ไหม
If I push on him while both his feet are on the ground, he's just going to go like this, right? So I have to focus in my training many times getting the right moment of like pushing him back, and when his leg comes up, that's when you shove.
ใช่
Ah.
ต้องตาม
ตามดิ
ไปเปิดบอก
ตามมาจังหวะปุ๊บตาม
When you push, you have to follow. He just did an imitation that's shove. Come back.
มันจะพอดีกันเป๊ะๆเลยอยู่เนี่ยปุ๊บเลยคุณเป็นมือเข่า
You can practice this on a bag, because when a bag swings away, it will swing back towards you. So you can practice this kind of like clashing.
เอาปุ๊บนั่นแหละ
Ah.
ดีแล้ว
At this point, my understanding of faking was really bad. So I'm trying a little bit.
รอบกระแทกให้แน่น
See how he uses that fake, lands the punch, and then he covers a lot of ground with his feet. after landing the right cross. Watch his feet. I'm in the way. Here we go.
เตะเหมือนกันคุณเดินเข้ามาเขาเตะสูงเสียเปรียบเพราะคุณเดินเข้ามาเจนแข้งเขาโยกโยกเป็นไหม
So he was telling me lok before. This is to fake, right? Yok. Yok is two things. Yok is to raise something. So like when the leg comes up, when it's raised. Or it can be to like yok is like your rhythm, like your sway. So he's saying watch for when things come up. Watch for when the knee is up. Watch for when the kick is up.
เขาเตะมาเขาจะถีบอ่ะคุณเป็นคนหนีผมเป็นคุณ
I don't understand him. He's like, I'm going to be the person running away, right? So I'm going backwards now and he's me.
เพื่อจะไปตีเขา
So he's like, I have to wait for your knee. I have to wait for your kick. I might have to take one, but he's basically timing when I'm on one leg.
เอาคืนแต่ยอมลงทุน
I don't understand him. I'm trying.
แล้วอ่า
He's giving me such good information that now you all know because I understand him now, but I didn't understand him at the
ที่
time.
มันนำเขาจะเตะปึ้มแล้วถึงเวลานำก่อนแล้วค่อยเข่านำ
So he's saying you use the punch to bait their kick so that you can shove and throw the elbow. Like there's a give and take in everything. Falling over. Oh, this move of his, this like caught teep pulling down around thing is so amazing.
สอบเยอะๆพยายามสอบเยอะๆมวยเข่าอ่ะ
He's saying as a knee fighter, use your elbows a lot.
เลยกดคอตีปุ๊บสับนี้แขนบล็อกไว้บล็อกเป็นใช่ไหม
So see how my arms are on the insides of his elbows.
จังหวะนี้ปุ๊บ
He can't elbow me, right?
จับแบบนี้
He's controlling. I can't elbow him from this position with his hands on the insides of my elbows. But because my hand is also wrapped around to the inside of his bicep, he can't throw inside.
ข้างหน้าพยายามขึ้นไป
If he doesn't control my elbow, that elbow can come up like this and you can cut people.
จับเป็นอยู่เนี่ย
His brother Namkabuan was known as the like, it's a hard word to translate, but it's like the spoiled face tiger, soft face tiger. It means that he cut really easily. Namkabuan also cut really easily, but he wasn't the kind of forward fighter that Namkabuan was. So Namkabuan got cut way more than Namkabuan did, but Namkabuan's got quite a few heavy battle scars from his days. But so he knows how to like guard and sneak those elbows in. This is where you're trying to get the like bony points.
อ่า
So see how you like bat it away and come around with the other side? So you're like
ได้
batting the guard out of the way and coming
ใช่
over.
ไหมแบบนี้ใช่ไหม
ใช่ไหม
แบบนี้ใช่ไหม
ใช่ไหม
แบบสวยใช่ไหม
ใช่ไหม
ปึ๊บเข้าปึ๊บมันงัดขึ้นอย่างนี้ได้
Sounds like a teenager.
อย่างนี้ก็ได้อย่างนี้ก็ได้แต่
ใช่ไหม?
ช่วยกันหยิบตัวแรงๆ
It's very hip. It's very cool. It's like, bro.
เข้าไป
So see how he's making me like twist on that to like come up through that angle. So he's saying once you've thrown that elbow, you've now opened up for the knee. So it's this whack-a-mole situation of the elbows and the knees.
ตัวจะย่อแทงเข่าพอตัวเข่าปุ๊บย่อปุ๊บหน้าตับ
It's totally how Yodkunpan teaches as well. Watch Yodkunpan in the Muay Thai Library for this like ideal whack-a-mole. Is this like the elbow makes you go like this, and then you hit him in the belly, and then they go like this, and then you hit him with another
ป้อง
elbow.
กันอยู่แล้วไม่มีใครเลยนะ
He's like, never think that once you've covered, you're fine. There's no such thing. Once you cover, something else is open. I've got the like, I'm moving everything and I'm like trying to throw fakes in. But he's got that like fake between fake.
แสนชัย
Sanchai used to do this. He doesn't do it anymore. As he's gotten older, he's given up on this one. But he used to do like a little leg kick and then head kick. It was like a little like soccer thing. Now you just get the like one cartwheel kick per fight. But he used to do this like pop pop.
เข่าไม่ดีเข่าเสีย
He's like, I can't do it. My knees aren't good.
เมื่อเข่าต้องดุโหด
He's saying that Muay Khao, like, you're always hitting people with knees that make them like lose their breath. He's saying you can do that with a teep as well. Like a good teep to the belly makes people like lose their breath. So he saw me miss that opportunity on the like bounced rope. So he's having me practice it again.
ฝึกกับเทรนเนอร์พอเราเตะเป้าเราเตะอายุเตะ
So he's saying when you hit pads, don't do this to your pad man because you have to tell them you're gonna do it because you don't want to be elbowing your pad man in the face. It's not a cool thing to do. So either have them hold for it or just practice the like, I'm kicking my pad man, now he's near the ropes, I'm gonna shove him.
มาเตะเตะผมเตะเป้า
It's like practice it all the time.
ปังปังปังปังพักต่อเข้าพัก
This is totally something you can do without like turning it into a drill with your pad man. Your pad holder should be moving around the ring. When you get them close to the ropes, practice shoving them. It's okay. You can do that as long as you have an okay relationship with your pad man. Don't throw things at them that they're not holding for, that they can't catch. But you can practice the timing of that one. Just feint the elbow.
ออกสไลด์เลยแต่ว่า
We have his slide knee in slow motion. Watch it. It's so beautiful. Here he's showing how to set it up. In the slow motion, you can't see as much how he sets it up, but you can see the slide knee itself. It's just unreal. He spent all this time teaching me the slide knee, and I'm like geeking out about how beautiful it is. And he's like, my brother really is the one who's great at it. He was like so in awe of his older brother.
ต่อยต่อยเลย
So he's having me set up for the slide knee with the right cross.
เร็วๆกว่านี้
I can't quite get the distance that he gets on it. When you see him do it, like watch him do it a couple of times. This is not a standard size ring. This is a little ring. Fighting Namkabuan in a little ring would be an absolute fucking nightmare. He is so aggressive and forward, and you have nowhere to go. Like if you were trying to get away, he's making fun of my like punches are not actually setting anything up. He's making fun of
แล้ว
me.
เราต่อยเราต่อยแล้วต่อยต่อยตรงหนัก
Doi dong means like punch straight, not like this. Like bam, slammed you in the face, shut you up. Then
เอาต่อยมาก้าวแทง
look at how much he twists his body on that slide knee, and look at the shape of his leg. Like he doesn't fold his leg completely. It's kind of open a little bit, but he twists.
เราอย่างนี้
He just told me to get my knee higher. He's like, if you knee someone in the groin, it's a foul.
เราแทงมันจะเตลิด
See how much he steps? He like steps on my foot.
ระยะวัดระยะโอเค
He's like, you're not gonna reach. If you just switch your feet where you're standing, you'll never reach them. You have to like gallop to their foot and then slide in. You'll hear him say this word if you're listening to the like background of him actually talking. He's saying Jim, Jim.
ก้าวยาวๆ
This is an older word for knees. So if you have like an older trainer and they're yelling Jim at you, they mean a knee. It's a different word. Cow usually is what, tang cow is usually what they say, but Jim is also a knee.
อ๋อใช้แบบลูกเขาจะหุบ
Yaw is also one.
แทงมา
It's a lot of words.
จะหุบพอดีใช่ไหม
Oh. See, this is for not setting it up. I didn't set it up, so as I'm coming for that knee, he's just like, bah! It just fucking nails me. It's like, keep your guard up. Close them first.
แล้วก็เป็นอย่างอื่นนั่นแหละ
Kinda.
สไลด์เสร็จ
I'm trying to do his little Nongki bounce. I'm trying to pull it in. Look at how much distance he covers with that. Like, imagine you're a really good fighter who fights backwards really well and you're trying to get away from that. I don't care how skilled you are. It's very, very hard to get away from that. It's like a railing. They call it a rail gun.
เห็นไหม
And then he's like in position. He's making fun of my elbow. I like pulled it back too far for I like loaded my elbow. So he's like people are just gonna get out of the way. He's like, not like this.
ก็จะอยู่ตรงนี้
He remembered making fun of me like that and made fun of me for that again, like a full year later. I remembered it too, but I was
อ่าเร็ว
like half mortified, half very flattered that he remembered that joke. It was very
ๆ
funny.
ถ้าเรา
He's like, if you load like this first, they're gonna nail you. Nobody's gonna wait for you and be like, yes, I'll wait for you to go all the way around for your elbow to come.
ใช่ไหมคุณฟังมา
Sagat, if you watch Sagat in the Muay Thai Library, he makes fun of me loading up a punch. He said, don't send it to America first.
แค่นี้เอง
just punch.
ปล่อยแขนปล่อยไหล่
Look at, okay, the part I said that I love to watch. Watch his back, like his shoulder blades. You can see how the elbow comes out of that
เราขึ้น
without it winding up. If you're someone who struggles with winding up on things, watch
From the rib, baby.
fighters on their back, like, again, like on a football jersey where the name is. Watch his shoulder blades, how that elbow comes out. That's how you learn how to, from without loading up, how to just
เพราะว่าฟันศอก
fucking
คู่ต่อสู้
whip.
พอเห็นแล้วโยกพอโยกอันตรายกระโดดสวนกลับ
He's saying if you fake first, the opponent's gonna kind of like duck back, and then you can come with the elbow. If you go like this,
ใกล้ๆ
they just cover.
ปึ๊บตอกแทงจับ
A little bit.
ปึ๊บตอกขวาแทงซ้ายเข้า
Jaw, qua, tang, sai.
ปึ๊บถูกหนึ่งสองแบบนี้เข้ามาหนึ่งสอง
He's saying you have to practice like this. You have to practice setting up each side with the other side. Like you slap and then go left, then you punch and you go right. Like it's this kind of like system. No. I'm like 1, 2, knee. Like I'm not understanding this. He's like, I'm not gonna tolerate this like
ปึ๊บมวยสูงก่อน
maladroit Muay Cow coming at me. That's totally what he would do. He would grab and he would lift and then just like pull.
ยก
He does a very little lift and then hits the because your feet come off the ground, when he body snatches you and lifts you, he's not doing a power lift. You lift a little bit and the feet go like whoop, and then you just kind of hit it.
ยกขึ้น
Kaloi means like when the leg floats,
เอ๊ะ
when the leg comes up.
ไม่ได้ต้องยก
He's saying if you don't lift, you can't throw them. It's too much energy. You lift a little bit and then just tip.
ปึ๊บ
Nit diao means a little bit. Ah!
You don't go like this at all.
I'm smaller than Namkabuan and I just did it to Namkabuan. Little lift, tip. He's saying they'll go easy. They'll go very easy if you do the little bit of the lift first. Ah!
It's like a little ballerina. Your feet are just like
ถ้าเราขาเขาแน่นอยู่ ถ้าหลักเขาแน่นอยู่ เราก็ไม่สามารถลดได้ถ้าขาเขาลอยขึ้น
He's saying it's easier if you lift and lift your own leg a little bit and take a step. So you like lift your leg and take a step and like twist them over it. Every time he does it,
นี้กับ
it's like someone implying their funniest joke or like almost doing their magic trick but not quite doing it. Like when he does it in real speed, he just kind of like spin. At the Muay Thai Summit, he taught this to us, and Karahat was there that day, and they took turns basically using me as the example to like throw me, doing this over and over again. You can seriously like spin someone out.
เตะแล้วถ้าเราป้องกัน
He's doing something different from what a lot of people do. A lot of people teach that when you catch the kick, you do this little like side step in order to take the impact out. He's like, if you just grab it, they can punch you in the face and they can come out. See what he does? He actually squats down as he catches it and pulls back. He comes like at a little bit of an angle. He does not do the side step. He does like a little boy band slide. It's like very nice. He goes like, whop. Ah, like that, like that. And when he catches it, his little squat down makes him look like some, like, when Skeletor is going too fast and he puts his like sword in the dirt to like slow himself down. It's like superhero. He just kind of like bah, and then like goes down like to the side a little. Yok doi means lift it a little bit. So you catch it, you lift it, and go. Look at his energy. He's like, do it in real time. Like, come on, in real time. It has to be fast. Ah. Nope. Ah, see how he slides at that angle so that it takes the impact out of my kick, but he's not going sideways. He's like going at an angle and back. And because he's going back, he's extending me out. So my chances of having balance as he starts to throw me are really low. He's doing like all the things to take my balance away. He's catching, sliding, lifting, throwing, but like all at the same time. See how he like throws it? He's got this little like fuck you throw on it that I'm not doing. I'm like gently letting it go. Like releasing the fish back into the water. He's like throw it. Lift.
Amazing.
It's beautiful. See how it spun him a little bit more.
Oh.
He's so sweet. So he's like, close them up, then you can slide. After this session, he was like, I have to go back to my restaurant. He called himself Dekban. Dekban is like, it means the kid of the house, but it means like he's a server. Like he basically had to like go take care of his restaurant. He had to like run back to his work after teaching me. That was the first time meeting Namkabuan. Absolutely incredible man. And I hope you guys got a lot out of that. I hope you watch it many times. I've really enjoyed voicing it over again and kind of reliving the experience and my misunderstanding and being so utterly shy in front of him for the first time, but kind of seeing how our relationship built off of that over the years and kind of kept some little qualities of that over the years. The way that we make fun of each other and teased each other is actually very, very similar to the way he's doing it there. I just got a little bit more familiar with him and could hand it back a little bit, but he's much funnier than I am. He's very, very charming.